Hello, Kim 107. We are now up to the chemistry part of the chapter for Chapter 4, Climate Change. We're going to learn how to name compounds. So, naming a compound depends on if there's a metal in the compound or not. So, a reminder, the metals are on the left side of the stair-steppy line, except for hydrogen, which is a non-metal. Non-metals are on the right side of the stair-steppy line over here. So there's a lot more metals than metals. So again, everything on the left side of the stair-steppy line except H is a metal. And so that is very important on naming the chemicals. So let's name covalent compounds first. I've mentioned that word covalent before, and it means non-metals only. So covalent compounds are made out of these few elements on the right side of the stair-steppy line, like carbon and oxygen and fluorine and chlorine and sulfur and nitrogen, phosphorus, bromine, iodine, compounds with those elements. So there's not a whole lot to choose from. So we use prefixes when we name them. So we have a prefix and then the first element's name, which is on your periodic table. Then the prefix for the second element's name, but we take off the ending and add the suffix "ide," I-D-E, ide. Now the prefixes are listed right here, 1 through 8. 1 is mono. You probably knew that. 2 is di, not bi like bicycle, but diatomic, 2, di. 3 is tricycle. 4 is tetra, like the game Tetris, but not quad, it's tetra. Tetra is 4. 5 is penta, like the pentagon. 6 is hexa, like a hexagon. 7 is hepta, with a T in there, hepta. And 8 is octa, like octopus. Now, the only thing about the prefixes is if the first element only has one atom, we're not going to start the name with mono. You'll just go straight to the element's name. Like we've talked several times about CO2 being carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide. Okay, so here's some examples. As I just mentioned, CO2, we don't start with mono, so carbon dioxide. PCl3, there's only one P. If you look on your periodic table, P is named phosphorus. We don't do monophosphorus. Drop the mono if it's the first one. So phosphorus. Then there's 3 chlorines. So we can see Cl is named chlorine. There's 3 of them. So that's trichlor. Change the ending to ide. Trichloride. Phosphorus trichloride. N2S5. N is named nitrogen. There's 2 of them, so dinitrogen. S is named sulfur, so we change that to sulfide, and there's 5 of them, which is penta. So dinitrogen pentasulfide. Next is FS6, so sulfur, and then 6 is hexa. F is fluorine, so we change it to fluoride. Sulfur hexafluoride. And then Cl2O7, 2 chlorines, so dichlorine. And then O is oxygen. There's 7 of them, so heptaoxide. Okay, so those are your examples. Hopefully that's not too bad, right? Use the prefixes. Now I want you to pause and name these 5 chemicals. Hit pause and see if you can name them. Spelling count, see if you can do a good job with the spelling as well. All right, number 1 is CH4, carbon tetrahydride. Now, you may remember that it's natural gas and that it's called methane. So I would accept methane as well, unless I specifically ask for the official chemistry name. So carbon tetrahydride. Number 2, PBr5, phosphorus pentabromide. Hope you got that one. Number 3, N3O4, trinitrogen tetraoxide. Number 4, SO3, sulfur trioxide. And number 5, dibromine octaoxide. So here they are written out so you can check your spelling. Carbon tetrahydride, phosphorus pentabromide, trinitrogen tetraoxide, sulfur trioxide, dibromine octaoxide. So hopefully you did well on those. Covalent names are pretty easy. You just need to remember they use prefixes. It's all about the prefixes for covalent names. Now let's switch to ionic nomenclature. What is an ionic compound? Well, that is when we have a metal plus a nonmetal. So you probably know one already. Salt, right? NaCl, you may have heard of salt, NaCl. That's ionic because we have a metal from the left side, and a nonmetal, the right side. So if you have a metal with a nonmetal, it's ionic. All you have to do is state the metal's name, the nonmetal's name, but change it to "ide." There's no prefixes, so these are even easier. Here's some examples. NaCl, which is the salt we eat, sodium chloride. MgF2, magnesium fluoride. AlBr3, aluminum bromide. Mg3P2, magnesium phosphide. CaS, calcium sulfide. Again, no prefixes if there's a metal. Don't use any prefixes if there's a metal. Just name of the metal, name of the nonmetal, end in "ide." No prefixes. Your turn. Pause and try these 5 spelling counts. All right, number 1. Again, you're looking at your periodic table, which has the names written in there. They're really small. You may need readers like me. So the names are in there to help you with the spelling. Number 1, sodium oxide. Number 2, potassium nitride. Number 3, aluminum oxide. Number 4, lithium bromide. Number 5, calcium chloride. Again, no prefixes. There's a metal. There's the answers for the spelling: sodium oxide, potassium nitride, aluminum oxide, lithium bromide, calcium chloride. All right, so that is nomenclature. That's the chemistry part of this chapter. So we'll take a break here, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, students.